this, and I know how to orient my body in a position where I'm not going to get bits. That's the trick.
I mean, your tactic, alright, you know what I'm saying? It's decent, you know. It probably worked most of the time, but when it don't, you know what I'm saying? Mine is 100% effective. See, I just orient my body so I'm never by alligator to begin with.
What is going on today, everybody? Welcome back
to yet another video. Alright, today we have another video to check out from the Vulcan. This one is SCP-5138. Something to do with like bog bodies or something. I don't know, bro. As usual, I don't know. But we're about to find out. Hope your day is going well. Hope your week's going well. I don't know. What month is it? It's September, right? September, about to be October. Crazy, bro, crazy. Hope your year's going well. You know, crazy stuff happens. Hope you know you're still alive and you're watching this. You're hearing this. I don't know, bro. It's been a minute since I've done an actual intro. Don't really know what to say.
Do you know the way?
But anyways, without further ado, let's get into this.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Dr. Miller.
My name is Dr. Miller, and the SCP we're going to be looking at today is SCP-5138. Object Class: Safe. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-5138-1, 2, and 3 are stored in individual medical stasis chambers at Site-93, with an additional 3 chambers held in on-site reserve for any additional iterations that are found.
What?
The Misinformation Project, establishing the existence of a hitherto unknown group of indigenous peoples around the Louisiana Bayou, has been largely successful. Foundation construct Frederick.aic has been tasked with maintaining the digital aspects of this campaign and has so far removed any opposing speculation from non-official sources. Additionally, all reports generated by Frederick AIC regarding any new sightings of the Louisiana Bogmen are to be classified L2-5138 and forwarded to the current SCP-5138 head researcher for investigation. Description: SCP-5138 refers to a collection of anomalously preserved humanoid corpses pulled from the Louisiana Bayou south of New Orleans.
How can there be an anomalous preserved corpse? Like, what does it do? Like,
over the course of 15 months, 3 iterations of SCP-5138 were recovered and are being held in Foundation containment. Catalog number SCP-5138-1. Acquisition date: 8th of May, 2012. Description: SCP-5138-1 consists of a head, thorax, and portions of both sinister and dexter brachial limbs. The thorax shows signs of extensive damage to its lower portion, consistent with violent separation from the remainder of the cadaver. In a non-anomalous corpse, the state of decay is such that it would be believed that this was likely the cause of death. Catalog number SCP-5138-2. Acquisition date: 21st of February, 2013. Description: SCP-5138-2 consists of a thorax and both sinistral and dextral upper limbs in toto. Similarly to SCP-5138-1, the damage to the lower portion of the thorax is evidence of a violent separation between upper and lower portions of the cadaver.
what happened?
Catalog number SCP-5138-3. Acquisition date: 13th of September, 2013. Description: SCP-5138-3 consists of a head, thorax, abdomen, pelvis, and portions of both sinistral and dextral upper limbs. While the abdomen remains intact, the lower limbs appear to have been surgically removed prior to the subject's vivisepulture. While all 3 SCP-5138 objects are capable of semi-autonomous locomotion, the act of such motion has caused significant damage to the remainder of each object due to their overall desiccated state. Additionally, SCP-5138-1 and SCP-5138-3 are capable of minor vocalizations, though they have yet to produce anything intelligible. Attached to
Wait, they can speak? But they're corpses. Like, what?
Addendum. Discovery. All 3 iterations of SCP-5138 were recovered from a region in the southeastern portion of the Biloxi State Wildlife Management Area in St. Bernard Parish, Louisiana. Beta 2 assets within the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries responded to an inquiry by the SWMA Rangers to possible criminal activity in the Lake Borgne area and were able to recover iterations 1 and 2 with minimal intervention. SCP-5138-3 was recovered several months later, after a news report was released in The Gambit, a local alternative weekly publication in the New Orleans area. Foundation AIC flagged the article and forwarded it to Site-93, where it was reviewed by Site Administration, and Mobile Task Force Beta 2 agent Christoph Melancon was assigned to investigate. 5138, Document 1, Acquisition Interview Transcript. Date, 13th of September, 2013. Agent, Lieutenant Christoph Melancon. Interviewed, Clancy Dubois, Gambit Weekly staff writer. Research object, SCP-5138-3 acquisition. Forward. The following was recorded by Agent Melancon's personal recording device and is audio only. Agent Melancon, posing as a detective with the New Orleans Police Department, had been sent to interview Mr. Dubois at his home regarding the article in the Gambit and to ascertain the legitimacy of the claim. Begin log.
Thanks for agreeing to see me, Mr. Dubois. Call me Clancy. Everyone else does. Perfect.
Clancy.
I'm surprised you would ask me to meet you here and not the paper's office. It ain't every day a member of the gendarmes wants to speak with me. Sure, it ain't the first time or nothing, but, Plus, you said you was wondering about the bog, man, so I figured it'd be best just to show you.
So you have it here. Why didn't you just turn it over to the morgue or the folks over at Tulane? They'd be better to confirm your claims.
Oh, yeah, sure. The Tulane boys will be around eventually, but I wanted to see if there was a reward or something before I just hand my prize over to them.
Of course.
That's the thing, you see. I never heard no bogmen in the U.S. The bayou ain't exactly no bog, yeah? I didn't know they could do that to nobody. This is why you're here first. Make sure there ain't no foul play or nothing.
Well, I'd leave the specifics to the coroner. I'd have asked him to be here if your article had mentioned the possibility of a crime. You said bogman, though, and mummies typically aren't the coroner's area.
Well, like I said, I might get something for my troubles.
Where did you say you found it?
Well, my cousin, he got himself an airboat. He lets me borrow it from time to time. I was out doing some brine fishing near the Biloxi Management Area, and I found it out there. Sticking up out of the mud, ugly as you please.
Right. So instead of calling someone, you just brought it back here.
Dude, I'm loving these accents, bro.
Hey, I ain't in trouble or nothing, am I? I don't called you guys, but none of y'all will believe me, so I wrote the article, and now you're sending someone calling?
It isn't my call, Clancy. Next time, just let one of the Rangers know before you go disturbing the site, okay? So, show me this thing.
I got it out in the garage. Started stinking something fierce. Tisha didn't want it in the house. So I had this big-ass cooler for fish, right? Big enough for a small gator if I catch one. I always wanted to catch me a gator. Never did, though. It f***ing moved. Jesus Christ, what the f***?
End log. Afterward, Lieutenant Melancon reported that SCP-5138-3 had pulled itself out of the ice chest and had crawled across the floor towards the garage door, where it attempted to grab at Dubois' leg when Lieutenant Melancon pulled his sidearm and discharged it at the SCP-5138-3 subject. It ceased moving long enough for a team to arrive and secure the area. Dubois and his wife were amnesticized, and the Gambit issued a retraction of the story the following week. Additional research. SCP-F internal email. From F. Tonlier at Site93 scpf.int to S. Arthur at Site93 scpf.int. Date 11th of October 2013. Regarding SCP-5138.
Stan, I've finally gotten the time to review the SCP-5138 objects, and I'd like to take the opportunity to give you a brief summary of my findings. Attached is the full review, but the short version isn't really less complicated. Obviously, we don't get bog mummies quite like this in Louisiana. There are quite a few still being found over in Florida, but the conditions of the peat bogs over there are such that they are much wetter than the bogs where preserved bodies like this would be found. For the most part, dermal tissue and internal organs don't survive the mummification process in Florida bogs, though the skeletons themselves are remarkably well preserved. Though even with the preservation process you'd get in much colder climates like Denmark, you typically don't find bog bodies in such a well-preserved state that they actually try and talk back to you. All three SCP-5138 objects create extremely localized fluctuations in the Hume field, which is to be expected from partially animated corpses. What's more interesting is the trace amounts of Akiva radiation that accompany each object. While there is not enough to signify that these were ritually sacrificed, there is definitely more than what you'd find in a type green transformation. And the near total lack of any thaumaturgic residue rules out a type blue entirely. This led me to get in touch with one of our assets in LaRue. Granted, most of the weird shit we find in the bayou can be traced there, but it never hurts to be sure. She was extremely reluctant to talk about the goings-on of the leadership of LaRue, but she did clue me into some of the missing Global Occult Coalition agents in the LaRue area.
Uh-oh.
Regards, Franco Tonlier, MD, PhD, Site-93 Senior Researcher.
5138, Document 3, Classified L4, 5138. On the 12th of October 2013, Dr. Arthur accessed the Joint Foundation GOC field database and was able to confirm through existing DNA records that the SCP-5138 bodies were the remains of Special Agent James Blount, SCP-5138-1, Special Agent Robert Craig, SCP-5138-2, and Special Agent Seth Avery, SCP-5138-3. All three agents were involved in a GOC task force assigned to the New Orleans region that had been ordered to gather intelligence on how to infiltrate the LOI 504 LaRue
and it backfired.
Macabre Nexus.
It backfired.
While the exact date of their disappearance is not available, the last update to any of their folios in the field database was in January 2012, listing all three members of the 5-member task force as on assignment. The locations of Special Agent Brian Silverton and Agent in Charge Andrew Ford are currently unknown. Update 410-2014. On the 9th of April 2014, the Oriole Orbital Recon Array detected a significant spike in Akiva radiation in the Biloxi Wildlife Management Area. A Mobile Task Force Beta 2 Bayou Boys task force was sent to investigate the area and report back on any findings. The following is a transcript and still from the footage recovered from Sergeant Nicholas Arnaud's body camera. Date, 9th of April, 2014. Exploration Team, Mobile Task Force Beta 2, Gamma Squad. Team members, Sergeant Nicholas Arnaud, Team Lead, PFC, Elsbeth Montpellier, and SPC, Augustin Baptiste. Control, Dr. Franco Tonlier. Forward. The team was airlifted into the area by helicopter and dropped several hundred meters from the location of the Akiva spike. This transcript is taken from Sergeant Arnaud's body cam with irrelevant portions removed for brevity. Begin log.
I got something, Sarge. Looks like a body. My body's reading 1.3, so I'm betting this was where the spike was. Heard. I'm coming up. Bat, keep your eyes out and down. If it's a body, we're gonna get gators. Arnaud moves up to stand beside Baptiste, and a small area of dark mud can be seen in the foreground. The head, arms, and upper torso of the body can be seen sticking out of the marsh. Control? I think we just found Agent Ford. Frederick AIC has returned an 81% probable on facial recognition. Life signs? Stand by. Arnaud stands forward and the view tilts as he leans down and places his fingers to the side of the body's neck. Negative. No pulse. Body's cold to the... He breaks off and quickly steps back as the body's eyes open. Me, that's not a corpse, Sarge. There wasn't a goddamn pulse. Control, please be advised. This thing is looking at us. The body begins to shift slightly in the mud, as if it was attempting to free itself. Help.
Oh, man.
Can't feel my legs. Stand clear, Arnaud. Beta Squad is en route for recovery. Heard, Control. You want me to talk to this thing? I can hear you, Sergeant. Please help me. I don't want to die. A little late for that, buddy. Can it, Baptiste? Ford, is that you? Yes, I'm Ford. Special Operations. What happened to you, Ford?
Oh my gosh.
I got into the Nexus. Joe didn't like that much.
Oh, there's a shock. Joe's always seemed to take kindly to people that try and get in and kill his folk.
So he just tossed you into the muck? Not exactly. He kept me around for a bit. Said he was gonna make an example of me. He tortured you? Yes. I don't remember all of it, though. Okay, buddy. I'm gonna help get you out of the mud. Just hold tight. Belay that, Sergeant. Beta teams on their way. The bodies are up to 1.5 Control. Things are stabilizing, and I don't like leaving a guy stuck in the mud like this. Fine. Be careful. Any blips on your meters and you get out. Arnaud moves forward to step behind SCP-5138-4. He reaches down and grasps it under its arms. Okay, Ford. I'm gonna lift. On 3. See if you can kick free of the muck. Okay? Okay. I'll try. Arnaud counts to 3 and then pulls, but stumbles back almost immediately. He falls to the ground, causing SCP-5138-4 to fall out of the view of the camera. Oh, that!
What
Sergeant!
happened?
What's happening? Your heart rate just spiked hard and I don't have a clear view. Thing came out of the mud easier than I thought.
Oh, alligator?
Christ, he ain't got no legs! His shit just stops at his ribs!
Oh, that's what caught you off guard? That's what caught you off guard? You saw that he was a corpse, bro. Like, like, come on, man. I thought like there was like something attached to him, like a monster or something.
End log. SCP-5138-4 was recovered by the Beta-2 Beta team and contained along with the other SCP-5138 instances. In order to maintain operational security surrounding the agreement between the Foundation and the administration of the LOI-504, the Global Occult Coalition has not been notified. The location of Special Agent Silverton is still unknown. Dr. Stanley Arthur, the current Site-93 director, requested an interview with Person of Interest 504L, Papa Legba. Person of Interest 504L agreed to a meeting, and the two of them scheduled to meet in one of the private dining rooms at Antoine's, a local fine dining establishment in the French Quarter. Date: 15th of April, 2014. Interviewer: Dr. Stanley Arthur. Interviewed: Person of Interest 504L, Papa Legba. Forward: when Dr. Arthur arrived as scheduled, Person of Interest 504L was already there, seated at the only table in the private dining room. An array of small dishes covered the table, including a bottle and 2 wine flutes. The following was captured from a hidden camera in Dr. Arthur's spectacles. Begin log.
Good evening, Mr. Legba. Thank you for agreeing to meet with me. Of course, Dr. Arthur. Wouldn't want you to be thinking I'm being rude. We has ourselves an agreement, Doctor. I will oblige you the meeting. Yeah, lets me show off a bit. I was wondering why you chose to meet here. And in a private room, no less. Old man Elkiator and I was friends, you see. When he was setting up, we helped him and get his off the ground. Got him things he couldn't get nowhere else. We still be supplying a lot of the eats here, so I get this table at my leisure. He gestures around at the empty room. And the privacy that comes with it. I appreciate the gesture, Mr. Legba. I just don't understand why you're making it. You ain't gonna like what you've come here to learn. I see. So, you know why I asked you to meet with me? I've been knowing that. And more that y'all don't be knowing enough to ask. This here's my home, Doctor. I've been knowing all that's goings on. So you know about SCP-5138 then? You thinking the damn Gawker boys are the first group of patty rollers caught trying to get into LaRue? You best disabuse yourself of that right now. They saying the first sure shit ain't gonna be the last.
Of course not.
So you condone Joe's actions, then? Ain't about condoning nothing, Doc. Joe's been protecting LaRue since before you jailers set up shop anywhere. Since before this was a land of the free and home of the brave and all that nonsense. It wasn't free then, it ain't free now. I see. No, you don't. How could you? You was all sitting pretty over there in that compound of yours. You ain't about to worry about no collar going about your neck. You be one of them that puts collars on necks.
Mm-hmm.
We do what we must to survive, Doc. Even if that means making deals with the devil himself.
Wow.
Is that what Joe is? The devil? You deaf as well as blind? Joe ain't the devil, Doc. You is.
End log.
Foundation, yeah.
This concludes today's lecture. Thank you for listening, if indeed you still are, and you're all dismissed. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Wow, that's actually good, bro. I'm not gonna lie. So, it's like the GOC went poking around where they shouldn't have, and they got themselves into something that was over their heads. That's what happened, bro. That's the gist of this. Like, don't go poking around where you're not supposed to be, you know. Some things are above your pay grade, and leave it be that way. And, you know, you don't need to know everything. You don't need to contain it. Some things are beyond you being able to contain, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's crazy to see like the inner workings of, you know, in this SCP, the inner workings of how the Foundation goes about, you know, researching and finding anomalies as well as containing them. It's cool to see that aspect of that in play in this video. Yeah. Great video as always from Vogan. The country accents, bro. The country accents had me, bro. Now, they were good. They were good. Not gonna lie. I think the Vulcan is Irish, right? So it's, for him to pull off that type of accent is kind of insane, bro. That's insane. But anyways, that's gonna do it for this video. If you liked it, make sure to like, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.